televised?
We are. I'm gonna open the meeting of the Newbury Media Committee, and I think we're gonna also be called the Cable Advisory Committee. It's the, it looks like this, in the statute, it sets forth that the selectmen can get assistance on license renewals from local committee, and then they say, comma, Cable Advisory Committee. So I think we'll.
That's what we were called back then.
I was gonna say, I think we can be known as that as well.
Well, they'll have to, just for the record, they're probably gonna have to recreate that committee because it was disbanded, so, since at the meeting, the selectmen appointed the media committee to negotiate the Comcast contract, I would think it's covered,
Right.
so.
Yeah, and I think the statute, it talks about the issuing authority being able to get assistance from other committees. So the, as mentioned, the selectmen have asked for, they're the issuing authority for the license renewal. They've asked the media committee for assistance and to get that process started. So we have that on our agenda, and we also I think may need to just take a look at Caleb and is he happy, and what our arrangement is with him as you continue to be an independent contractor until
June? July 1st, maybe?
June 30.
until June 30th. So if we're going to talk about how we go about and what we're looking for in negotiating our contract with Comcast, since it's a legal contract, legal document, and there's a negotiation going on, we can go into executive session to talk about the strategy of that and the things that we'd be requesting, because if it's part of a public meeting, it kind of defeats the purpose of it being a strategy. So before I ask to go into executive session, is there anything kind of in general terms on that we want to talk about on
Why don't we just
what the committee's doing?
lay out the timetable, talk about when this contract, the current contract ends, and when we expect a new contract with Comcast to begin.
One of the things that I think we'll talk about further as we're trying to figure out strategy is that there is a formal process and an informal process. Did anyone have a chance to take a look at the cable renewal guide that I just copied people on? It would have been late yesterday.
Yeah, I didn't see it.
I think I copied people on the link, and I'm going to ask Caleb or someone at Town Hall if you can make some hard copies of that for us. One of the reasons I'm going to ask for help is that my printer stopped working last night, and I think it was 11 pages, but I finally was able to bring up the document, but I wasn't able to print it, and I think it's a good idea to have some extra copies of that and for the people on the board to take a look. It's a pretty good plain English description. It's on the state government website, the Office of, I misspoke at the selectmen's meeting about Department of Public Utilities. They moved cable television regulation from from energy and public utilities to licensing and consumer affairs. So it now falls under the Office of Consumer Affairs and Regulation. There's a cable television licensing division. They have a liaison that we can ask to come to Newbury and meet with us, who'll go over the obligations both under the state and the federal statute of the cable company. They'll also run through the, what the renewal process is, which is also in the guide. And I spoke to the fellow on the phone. He was very helpful, answered questions, and gave me a couple communities that had recently been through a similar process. Also spoke to Mass Access, the private association of all the access groups, and they likewise have people who have been through the renewal process that are available to help us, and all for free.
So it's an 8-year contract, correct?
It's a 10-year contract. I grabbed the wrong folio, but it may be out in the back of my car, but I believe it's June 18.
My question is, Verizon's trying to buy Comcast right now. So if that goes through, what happens with this contract? Does it change, do you know?
Well, that's very interesting for a number of different reasons, but
Yeah, all right.
the way contracts have worked in the past, and I believe there's a provision towards the end of our contract that essentially says this is an obligation that goes with the company. So
I saw that
it would require approval, but it wouldn't negate the obligations
Okay.
of Comcast.
I saw that online this
But
morning.
is my memory right? Does it say June?
The one I have says May 21st, 2007, which I know is not correct. Must have been a draft.
Yeah. Okay. I'll double check that. Just for some reason.
Which means that it would end May 20th, 2017, wouldn't give us much time.
No.
I know it was 2009 or 10.
Yeah. I mean, if we need to, we can also go online and find it. So there's a formal process and there's an informal process. The guide that's on the state website does a pretty good job of explaining what the two processes are. Gives some practical suggestions on how to approach it, and I think it's a good idea for people to take a look at that, and we can decide today, or we can wait till you have a chance to look at that guide, whether we want to have someone from the state come out for one of our meetings. His job is municipal liaison, and and come talk to us about what the process is.
I think it'd be a good idea.
Yeah, what,
Okay.
right?
And I understand there's a chance we may be getting a new member as well. So that would work out well, in terms of someone to kind of, educate him or her on, this is the big picture of what your job is, this is how to approach it. So why don't I make a motion to invite the municipal liaison to a meeting let me for the motion purposes, let me say for the near future, and let me try to find the date that I think I know the dates that work with you folks here. Let me find a date that looks like it's good for him, and we'll set something up most likely next month.
I'm scheduled for cataract surgery on the 7th of February.
Okay. Do you know when you'll be okay in March?
Yeah. Do I know off the top of my head? No.
Well, if,
I should be fine in March.
okay,
I've had this done before.
okay. So do you want me to try to do it like after March
Middle of March?
15th or something, or?
Yeah.
That gives you a month?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, so we'll hold our next meeting and we'll try to get a date. Geez, I just had his name here too. Michael. I forget his last name. So we'll set up a date that works for him and the good date that works for us in March for an overview of what the process is. And I'll see if I can find a good date for Alicia Greco as well, because I think it'll, especially like if the selectmen have questions about the process, that'll.
Will that give a good time? We have a new member you said coming in?
Yeah.
So would that be an adequate time for the new member to get sworn in to be here for March?
I think so, because I think for some reason they were pushing to get this done before the end of the month.
Okay.
So that should be plenty of time. And I'll try to get if I can get a couple dates from the state, I'll try to see if that will work for him or her as well. And Alicia Greco. I mean, we can invite other selectmen if they want to come for the briefing, but I got the sense that you know, she's kind of the liaison for the board. Okay, so we'll do that at the next meeting. Do you want to talk a little bit about strategy, about what we think we're looking for and
Yeah.
how we go about approaching it?
Absolutely.
Okay, I move we go into executive session so we can talk about the contract negotiation. We are out of executive session.
So there were really just equipment needs listed on here, one of which was a product we had talked about and we voted on to purchase, Final Cut Pro. Unfortunately, the only way to purchase that is through Apple Direct and requires a credit card. I can't make arrangements for a PO, I've tried that. It's only credit card, so Caleb doesn't want to put it on his credit card. I've done so many credit card purchases here for the town, I just can't even do anymore. So the challenge is finding out how we acquire this product now. If somebody else might be willing to put it on their credit card. Do you remember how much it was, Caleb?
$300.
Did I put it on here?
$209, I think.
Yeah,
Throughout?
yeah. Of course, it would be reimbursable to anybody, but I just can't put any more on my credit card for the town. I do so much for them already, I just can't, so. The other component to that, while we're just talking about the funding, is the newburychannel.org domain. Renewal is up. It's about 30 days we have. It's $15 annually. I would just recommend doing it for about 3 years or more. You can do it up to 10 if you want. The price slightly decreases with the more years, so that is another item that we haven't talked about yet. We also need to acquire 2 to 3 64 megabyte SD cards for the video cameras. We're just getting more meetings, so we'd just like to be able to switch out the SD cards so he can work on the ones there and get a new one in the video cam. So they're ready and usable for anybody that wants to record a meeting. And then the last item is the Mac equipment that we ordered. Surprisingly, didn't include any USB or Ethernet connectors. So,
It's all random
Yeah.
USB-C, which is like
So-
a new thing.
right, so nothing works with it. It's obviously a specialty, just another way for Apple to get you. But the USB and Ethernet connections run about $50, the HDMI is about $35. And then an afterthought was ordering a protective case for the MacBook Pro, because we failed to think about that when we ordered the investment. So those last 2 items I mentioned, we can acquire through PO, it's not a problem. It's just the first 2 being the newburychannel.org and the Apple purchase, within a credit card, so.
And the newburychannel.org requires a credit card?
Yeah.
Yeah, that came through POS.
Yeah. Richard had done that in the past.
Yes.
It's expiring now, so we need to renew it. So it's just a matter of, I have both the links there, which I can send to anybody who might want to bite the apple.
No problem.
And get those renewed for us.
And we just need to approve the other things for the laptop and the cameras. the SD
Right,
cards.
right, we need to vote on those.
Okay, well, I'm in a position where I'm in the process of getting rid of cards and combining things all into one, which I know I'm not gonna be able to do anything until I get back from visiting my daughter. I'm gonna be gone for about 3 weeks in February to the beginning of March. Well, let's take the simpler one first. How much money do we need to authorize the
We need to
new
authorize.
cards and USB?
The new cards and USB, well, let's see, about. I'd say you'd be 300 would cover it. That's rounding
Okay,
up.
both for the cards and the
Yeah.
and the USB port.
Yeah.
I move to authorize up to $300 for the aforementioned cards and
Accessories.
accessories USB port.
A second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Passes unanimously. On the credit card, can the committee get its own credit card?
The town doesn't even have its own credit card, otherwise I'd be using it.
Really, you don't?
Because it has to be tied to somebody's social security number,
Oh,
and nobody wants to tie the town's
Yeah, I don't
to their
blame
social
you.
security number, so, yeah. So that's why one
that's a
doesn't
smart
exist.
move.
I had started to apply for the Apple credit, thinking I could put it under the town, but they wanted my social security number. I'm like, yeah, no, I'm back after that. So I tried, and I've reached out to a few different companies to see if we can get it otherwise, and it's only through Apple.
Is it an Apple program?
The Hanukkah Pro, yeah. And it's a one-time deal. It's like,
Yeah. One time,
I mean, I have it, but I don't have it for, I'm trying to separate my stuff from the town. So
I have a bootleg.
He has it personally,
Yeah.
the media committee doesn't have it.
So, but the thing is now I'm using, with all the new equipment, I'm using Newberry TV, like their iCloud, their account, rather than, because my computer used to essentially be on that computer, like on my Apple ID stuff, but now we have all of Newberry's ID stuff, but none of my stuff is on that now. So,
Okay, well,
Don? I think
So,
you
I'm-
haven't spoken on this item.
I'm scratching. Does Apple give a discount, a military discount?
Oh, they might.
That's what I'm thinking right now. I'll go to the Apple store tomorrow. Maybe.
all right.
And I'll send you a quick email with the product name and
Yeah.
just a link to it so you have it, so you know exactly what it is that we're looking for. I mean, I guess if I have to, I can do the smaller of the purchases for the domain, but you guys gotta
So,
vote on it to pay.
where is the
pay
domain
back.
purchased through?
Hover,
Apple?
hover.com, yeah. That's who we have it through. You can,
I used to go in there, this was curious.
yeah. That's where Richard got it from, so.
so
You want three?
the renewal of the Newbury channel for
.org domain.
3 years is how much?
40.
It's about $45.
Okay.
Just don't know.
If you
Well,
go more
let me-
years.
Let me make a motion to this, which may not help us, which is that I vote to approve the expenditure of up to $350 for AppleCut Pro and the newburychannel.org renewal. And understanding that it's going to have to be charged and reimbursed, but the motion is to I guess it's to
To
authorize
authorize
the expenditure of up to.
Well, we did already authorize the final
Already
cut drone purchase.
Oh, we
We
already
just
have.
haven't been able to
Secure.
make it yet.
Okay.
Is that,
Um,
is that a downloadable thing, or do you?
Yeah,
buy
it's
like
download,
CDs?
download, it's all through the cloud.
So you wanna say, you wanna modify that to say you authorize up to $50
Yes.
for the
Yeah, the
domain
Newbury Channel,
renewal?
yeah.
Okay.
A second? All in favor? Passes.
You're not gonna need 350.
And that was just for the 50, because we've already
Right.
authorized the other 300.
That was back in December.
Well, it might have been a little bit earlier than that.
Yeah, Caleb, let me go to Apple, let's see if they're doing this.
Yeah. Sounds
Not
good,
that it
dude.
matters, I'm just curious.
Yeah.
Not
Yeah,
bad.
right.
Yeah.
Might as well. Just save the receipt though, and then I'll give you the login information for the Newberry TV stuff, so that you can just, so if you want to do it there, you can just, I'll give you the login stuff so you can just buy it from that.
Very good.
So I'm gonna go ahead and try to schedule the fellow from the state to come. Have it be a good date with the new member. And we can kind of decide at that meeting whether we think we need to go into executive session. I'd say we probably don't, since we're gonna be talking kind of broadly about the process. But I suppose some people may have a specific question that goes to negotiation, and we can make a decision then. Okay, any other business?
Not that I have.
Motion to adjourn, approved, adjourned.